There they both are, two identical shoes, both copiously green and indiscriminately snakeskin, reunited on your feet, like two baby crocodiles. It's pretty clear a normal cop is not what you are. Good, they're balanced, comfy. Feels like the only good thing about you right now, truth be told. You should totally sing karaoke here, the first chance you get. Your emotions need to be expressed. People need to know your vast, oceanic soul. Utterly. And it needs to be heard. Through a PA system. By other people. You should sing the sad small church song from that tape you found. Thought it was obvious. No, don't sing the happy song. It's stupid. You would need another copy of the tape first, though. The one upstairs is destroyed. Who is mistakenly identified as a cop for his prominent jawline? Yes, sounds likely. You should probably go on stage and pose for a moment when you're done with this thought. See if it works.
Hello, sweetie. You shouldn't keep your colleague waiting.
A man in his late 20s stands behind the counter, inspecting a stuffed seabird. As you approach, everything is cool between you and this guy. He's a big fan. Make some small talk. A competent work of taxidermy. The white and brown seabird lies among piles of coasters and drying mud. Looks like the bird was ripped off the shield that was used to mount it. This is the great skua. The seabird is the symbol for the discovery of the Insulindian Isola, the part of the world you are in right now. The small steel tag says as much. The great skua, Stegosaurus skua.
Look, your buddy is over there. Why don't you go and talk to him, okay?
He pretends not to hear you, concentrating on the...
No, I'm not the bartender.
He's very animated all of a sudden. This seems like a touchy subject.
No, I'm not.
He's very animated all of...
I have 3 cafeterias to manage. 3. Sylvie tends the bar here, not me. I'm only standing in. She just, you know...
His eyes dart from left to right. This man isn't lying, but he is hiding something.
So now you're a cop. Oh, forget it. No, I'm not the...
He's very animated all of a sudden.
That period of my life is over. Not everyone who stands behind a... I have 3 cafeterias to... She just, you know...
His eyes dart from left to right.
So now you're a cop. Oh, forget it.
A competent work of text. Looks like this is the great... The small steel tag says as much.
Look, your buddy... Why don't you go and talk to him, okay?
He pretends not to hear you, concentrating on a competent... Looks like the bird. This is the great skewer. The small steel...
Look, your buddy... Why don't you go and talk to him, okay?
He pretends not to hear you. A colourful piece of plastic is dangling from his carabiner. Makes your fingers itch. On the counter, rolled out of his open hand, you see a blister pack of headache medicine. It's a dock worker's ID, doubling as a shift card and a job permit. A young, able-bodied man stares back at you from the photo. Santiago S. John. Your fingers find their way into the shackle, flicking open its spring-loaded gate. The metal loop holds the plastic up. The man emits a loud snore. Is he about to wake up? Doesn't look like it, but you never know. Better be quick. You slip the plastic ID card out of the loop and pocket it. The man can... Just for the record, you look nothing like the man on the document. The sleeping dock worker has little to say about your actions. He remains. The man does not mind. You probably need them more than he does.
You've just picked up some magnesium. This item is stored in the bottom left corner of the screen above your character portrait. Use magnesium to heal your morale if you have morale damage.
There is only one way to wake this bone idol from his slumber. Roar like a hurricane. Rip the buildings from the earth.
Why the yelling, man?
Looks like a Sao descendant. A lot of Sao dock workers around.
Wait, what? I was just sleeping. What do you want, officer? Thank God, no.
The worker stares at you, his eyes dry from sleep.
I don't know what you're talking about, kind sir. But when I'm out, then I'm really out. No malt grains or whatever. No. That's the name of my employer. I work in logistics. No, it's a nightmare. Thank God, no.
The worker stares at you, his eyes...
I don't know what you're talking about, kind sir. Thank God.
The worker stares at you.
I don't know what you're talking... Thank God, no. Brilliant. Indeed. Help yourself to some. Wait,
The dock worker doesn't answer. His head is already back down. The theme on that pinball machine is a standard royalist theme, used on everything from pinball cabinets to full-flavor cigarettes. Clinging to a picture book version of the past century, waiting for the king to come back and cast out all the profiteers and homosexuals. Basically, imagine a yellow plastic crown with a liquor brand emblazoned on it. It comes free with a six-pack of Vermilion Roy d'Or. The words Roy d'Or are stamped into the crown's plastic. The sentiment is called anti-centennial nostalgia, pining for a time before the turn of the century.
Hello, sweetie. You shouldn't keep your...
As you approach the door leading out of the hostel,
Excuse me. I think you may be the person I've been waiting for.
on the sleeve of his bomber jacket, as well as on its back, are the same enigmatic white rectangle.
Hello. I'm Kim Kitsuragi, Lieutenant, Precinct 57. You must be from the 41st.
You realize he's waiting for your name. Concentration makes you squint your eyes. Your name should be deep gold and orange, like a forest fire looming on the horizon, but mixed with the stench of liquor rising from your breath. You're 2 steps closer to it, but there are still many to go.
Okay then. It looks like we had a little scheduling error on Sunday. Saturday too, actually. Have you had time to talk to the manager here?
What he means is, he has been trying to meet up with you for 2 days, but you have been otherwise occupied.
If you don't mind, we should talk to him again. Ask him for a rundown of the area. Not that it also wouldn't hurt to assure him the police are finally here. In full force, I mean. Have you mapped out the initial interviews? Right. And the interviews? Good. But even if you haven't, we'll have time for that after we take a look at the coroner's case. Have you removed the dead body from the tree? So, the body is where it has been hanging for 7 days straight. We should go there as soon as we are done talking to the owner. I was sent here to meet a detective from Precinct 41. You have the insignia. I suppose you could be impersonating him. You could have gotten the insignia from the black market or forged it. But for now, I'm going to set those possibilities.
Inspectorate General means internal affairs. What he's saying is, he's not from the rat squad and isn't supposed to suspect such things.
No need for derogatory terms. They're only doing their job. Yes. They are not just white rectangles. They bear a halogen watermark with the letters RCM and a pattern with... I would ask you to step into the headlights of my motor carriage. But again, it's none of my concern. I just need you to do your job. You mean you don't have a badge? Losing your identification card is a serious matter. My vehicle has a shortwave. You can use it to report your badge missing. I would advise you to locate it as quickly as possible. but getting the body down should still take. We all feel that way sometimes. There is no such thing as a police officer, I'm afraid. What remains is that there is a dead body in the tree. Someone has to figure.
And then, soon after, dead bodies would be dangling from all.
But first, we have to take it down. I can see you drank last night and the night before, and that you are still drunk now. But I have seen officers go through. If you need something for your headache, there is a general store nearby. But as I said, the dead body should be our #1 concern. Talk to the manager. Then we go out back and take the body down. After you, officer.
Lieutenant Kitsuragi is now in your party. You can talk to him whenever.
Hello, sweetie.
Wait, who's Sweetie?
Why, you are, officer. You're a handsome man, officer, with your mustache and your chiseled jaw and that silly dimple on your chin. You must forgive me. I'm getting so scatterbrained. I'm Lena. My husband Morel and I are staying with our friend Gary just down the street, but I come here for tea when they're away.
This Lena is wacky enough for the motley crew. Hire her on the spot.
Yes, officer. You look rather dazed. Like a stunned fox. But surely things can't be that bad. Oh my. You know where we are, right? That's right. And where is the Whirling in Rags cafeteria itself located? Yes, indeed. We are in the fine city of Revachol. The new disco dancing, it seems like a lifetime ago. Much has changed, but it is still the most beautiful city in the world. A rare jewel set in the sand between the pines. Everyone says so, even foreigners. Speaking of history, you know what year it is, yes? That's right, dear. How splendid. Here, take this pen. Knowledge should always be rewarded.
Her relief is palpable. She was getting pretty.
I can tell that this is taxing for you, so I'll just ask one more question. What regime are we living under? What mode of government? Oh, sweetie, it's really not. There used to be people who thought that way. Revachol is a zone of control led by an alliance of foreign powers called the Coalition. We have almost no government of our own, and certainly no dictatorship of the proletariat.
But they still have cops.
Oh dear. And you were doing so well. There aren't any cops in Revachol, not in the traditional sense. The Status of law enforcement has been a complicated matter since the revolution. But we should stop for today, sweetie. You look like you need a break. Besides, I'm not the best person to explain the big things to anyone.
She's scared now. She's realized you really are brain damaged.
A defeat, I'm afraid. The people of this archipelago tried to build something new, something different. The rest of the world didn't like it, so they came and ended it. It has something to do with everything. I really don't know how to explain it better. A defeat, I'm afraid. Of course, sweetie, I really don't know how to explain it. You were doing quite well up until the end there. It does look like you're having trouble remembering things.
A sigh. The lieutenant buries.
But maybe a fresh set of eyes is what the world needs. And while I'm no doctor, such bouts of amnesia are often temporary, so I wouldn't worry too much. Someone more educated in sweeping matters.
No. I'm not an encyclopedia. I won't be a guide either. I'm a detective.
Of course. Then I don't know. Someone rich, maybe? Wealthy people are educated. Though I don't know where you would find a wealthy person in Martinez.
That's a good point. This doesn't look like Rich Central.
Yes, dear.
A paraplegic is someone with limited or no ability to use the lower half of their body. Paraplegia is caused by spinal cord injuries, like falling from a great height.
No, dear. I'm not quite that old. Although I was injured in the line of duty. Nothing so glamorous, dear. Though when I was young, I dreamt of planting the Revacholian flag on some. I was a training and development manager at a rapidly expanding mail-order shoe company. You'd think it would be a safe job, but I had to be everywhere, and, well, once I happened to be I was lucky. This was almost 20 years ago, and I was compensated exceptionally well. One can only dream of such payoffs nowadays. No problem. Whatever do you mean? Sequence killers? Oh my.
A partner who needs you to help him get a corpse down from a tree. I can assure you with absolute certainty, there...
Now, gentlemen, no need to squabble. I wouldn't be of much use to you, and thank you, but Martinez isn't the most wheelchair-accessible place, you see. Perhaps another time. Whatever do you mean? Ah, yes. Probably Roll With Me by the Fletchers. People often quote the Fletchers at me. Morel says it's my theme song. Yes, officer. You look rather dazed. You know where we are, right? Yes, but more specifically on the coast of the city of Revachol, in the district of Martinez. How would I even begin to tell you? Revachol is the most beautiful city in the world. I haven't seen very many other cities personally, but everyone says so. Revachol is a rare jewel. Speaking of history, you know... You're joking. Try again, one more time. What year is it? That's right.
Her relief is palpable.
I can tell that this is taxing for you, so I'll just ask one more question. What regime... Precisely, sweetie. Revachol is what's called a zone of control, led by an... It is quite disappointing, yes. A lot of people would like some form of representation. There's talk, but... Oh dear, this is trouble. But we should stop for...
She's scared now. She's realized you really are brain damaged.
Someone more...
No.
Of course.
That's a good point.
Of course, dear.
That sugary black rum stain on the counter makes you teary-eyed with joy. It's almost touching how syrupy and sticky it is. How long have you been up already? Sweet Lord, a whole hour. And you haven't thought about rum and lemonade in all that time? You've truly extinguished all trace of yourself. Maybe you haven't turned out well for your drinking. Have you thought about that? Get a goddamn rum and lemonade into your... What happened, man? You used to be cool. Get your drink on and your act together. The man with the unimpressive beard notices you approaching. He drops the ledger he was holding and turns to the lieutenant.
Mr. Gart, right?
Yes.
I am Kim Kitsuragi from Precinct 57. This is an inter-district investigation, so joining me from Precinct 41...
Fantastic.
Right. Now, I know it took us a while to arrive at the scene. It also took you a while to call us and report the dead body. It was you who...
No, I only just got here. It was probably Sylvie who called you.
Do you have her number?
As a matter of fact, I do.
This sounds like something you can use to call this Sylvie later.
You said you just got here. From where? Are you a local?
What, of Martinez? No, I live in Jamrock. I only sometimes come here to keep an eye on the place. This is just one of the many cafeterias I manage.
But you still know your way around, yes? In case we need directions.
Yes, I know where some things are, but as I said, I don't live here. I just used to work here. And I'm not going to start working here again, if that's what you think.
I didn't imply that. Detective.
He probably means this is where you step in and ask your questions. His face expresses profound doubt in your having this. Ask him about the body's location before asking if he killed him. People give up information in the more innocuous questions, which you can later use in the more sinister ones.
Behind this building, there's a courtyard. They hoisted him up on a tree there. That's easy. See that door there? First you exit through that. Then to your right, you should see a big hole in the fence. A really big one. You can get to the courtyard through there. No need for the keys. The hole is big enough for the Franco-Nigerian cavalry to fit through.
This man means the heavy cavalry of the innocents Franco-Negro, sweeping over the plains and nations of the enemies of mankind. 5th century style. Unified currency and the concept of cool came in their wake. They wore lamella and carried guns. But first and foremost, Franco-Nigerian heavy cavalry was really wide. That hole in the fence must be enormous.
Haven't you asked me that already? What is it with you and this woman? She has nothing to do with this. Okay, you got me. She went away because of the dead body out back. And because I asked for her number. That's why Sylvie went away. I hope you appreciate that.
Thank you.
I asked an employee out. She didn't want to come, but felt obliged to. It was a bad idea. Now, what is so goddamn fascinating about that for you? It's got nothing to do with the lynching. Good for you. Was there something else? I don't know who killed him. I'm not the police.
This is it. He said they hoisted him up on a tree.
Oh, people are saying it was the union dock workers, that it was a lynching. The locals, the customers, the people who eat here, a lot of dock workers eat here. Sylvie told me everyone knows the dock workers did it.
Did the debarders themselves tell her this, or is it a rumor?
I don't really know. You'll have to ask her. I would suppose it's because they have nothing better to do.
You mean the strike?
Yes, the strike. The man they hanged was a security guard for the harbour company, I hear. A mercenary. The unionistas probably thought they'd send a message. What are you, crazy? Of course I didn't kill him.
The lieutenant turns the page in the little notebook he's been scribbling in.
Haven't you asked me that already? What is it with you and this woman? Okay, you got...
Thank you.
Is it? Because I thought you were supposed to be investigating the lynching, not my employer conduct. Forget it.
Let's go.
Not so fast. You owe me 130 real.
As you blow this joint, behind you, a whiny voice shouts.
Real mature, man.
Yes? What do you want to know? Maybe you can tell me what you do know to help me narrow it down a bit. Then you are not that far behind, actually. Do you want me to brief you? 3 days ago, the RCM Emergencies Desk received a report about a security guard who was found hanged in Martinez. An anonymous caller said there was a dead body behind the Whirling in Rags hostel cafeteria. The cadaver had been there for 4 days. No one had come to investigate. During that time, the victim had been stripped of his belongings. The caller did not identify him, but used the word lynching. There is an ongoing labor dispute between the local dock workers and the logistics company Wild Pines. A security guard or worker of some sort hired by Wild Pines. This was just hearsay from Martinez, of course. We need to find out the truth. They didn't identify themselves in any way. The tone was muffled using a device of some sort. The desk could identify neither the caller's age nor sex. There's a strong prejudice against involving the RCM in what's seen as union matters. The dock workers' union is the de facto police in Martinez. Now it appears they've started executing too. We cannot allow that. That's us, the Revachol Citizens Militia. We're the police in this city.
The RCM, or the Revachol Citizens Militia, is the police force you and him are part of. A self-organized peace corps of the occupied city of Revachol. The RCM operates within a legal twilight.
That's right. You mean like a brief? Do you want me to brief you? 3 days ago, during that time, the victim had been stripped of his belongings. They didn't identify. There's a strong prejudice against involving the RCM in what's... Just to be clear, we are police officers. It's our job to find the killer. That's the case. Uncover and... No, it's not a particularly mysterious case. The deceased is a security guard for a corporation involved in a labor dispute. It doesn't take a DeLorean polymath to put the pieces together. I just don't see the case getting more mysterious than that. Then you are in luck, because we are in the midst of a major strike by the dock workers' union. Maybe more than that. The union clearly wants a piece, not just of the industrial harbor, but the Wild Pines Corp.
Is this a strike then? Or the first shots in a workers' coup?
I expect the case itself to be less challenging than navigating these community matters. This district isn't used to the RCM's presence, and the union rarely overplays its hand, as it appears to have done in this case. Strike, coup, revolution, it's brigandage, however you parse it.
You feel something rising through you, a familiar feeling, an opinion taking form.
When I said we have to navigate community matters, I did not mean we have any say in them. I meant we should be careful. If we are not, the shit will blow right in our face.
From an imaginary fan.
Now, was there anything else you wanted to know about the case? No, it's not a... The deceased is a security guard for a corporation. I can assure nothing like that will happen. Do you know why? No, something isn't happening, because it's not part of reality.
The gesture resembles an orchestra conductor bringing the choir to a full stop. So desperately mundane. You need to funk this case up. There's something the lieutenant isn't seeing. The universe is too irrational, too morally complex. You should convince him.
No, it's not a part. The deceased is a security guard for a corporation involved in... I'm relieved that you agree. Anyhow, let's get back to the case. What? No. The deceased is a security... There was some interest in this case at my station, but not for the reasons you have in mind. You seem to wish there was a... Yes, it just so happens there's a beautiful, blonde 19-year-old woman at the heart.
The weary tone is the surest indicator that the lieutenant is being sarcastic.
Extremely.
It can still be an otherworldly sex mystery in your head, with a dark twist even. He's basically challenging you to sex it up with some lurid twist. Don't get right into it. Sit on it a bit. Then hit him with it.
I'm afraid you and I are pawns in a pissing competition. You don't know? I assumed you were in on it. That's good. Better still than an imbecilic cop-off. It's just stupidity. We shouldn't waste any more time on it. If you want my take, ask me after we've inspected the victim. Later. Was there anything else you wanted to know about the case? Good. Me? I don't see how my life is pertinent to the investigation. That's a fair point. All right, for the good of the investigation, what do you want? That's because I'm half Seolite, or quarter. My father's father was from Seoul, so was my grandmother, but from my mother's side. It's a part of the world, officer. A geopolitical entity, and a geographic division. I told you it wouldn't be interesting.
Seoul is a protectionist, isolationist, pan-Isolari state west of the Insulindian Isola. Actually, it's quite interesting. Some would even say mysterious.
You're barking up the wrong tree. I don't speak a word of Seolite. I've never met either one of my grandparents, and I've never been to Seoul. I'm a regular Revacholière.
A point of pride to him.
That's correct.
You feel a slight urge to put the lieutenant down for this, but you can't quite muster enough testosterone.
Are they? They're mostly just cumbersome. What do you mean? I have no idea what you're...
The lieutenant's conceptualization skills must be rather rudimentary.
I can't say that it does, no. When I need to think, I just...
The lieutenant produces his small blue note. We all have our different mediums. His is written.
No.
The lieutenant nods.
That's correct.
You feel a slight urge to put the
I guess you don't need glasses, then. Good. Let's change the subject.
No response. He's having trouble processing it, believing it even.
Have you tried concentrating on something other than your personal affairs? Fine. We should get through this day first. Off hours begin at 9 p.m. If you're still having trouble then, I can give you an orientation. Try work, the case at hand. It can work miracles. Not a fan. It's just the nature of lieutenancy.
The RCM deploys a self-styled structure called the décomptage as its chain of command. Every lieutenant is responsible for 2 sergeants and 8 officers. That means the average lieutenant has to deal with quite a few personal affairs.
Really? You look fine to me. This psychodrama is unbecoming of an...
Clearly, he prefers to think you're malingering. He cannot fathom that anyone could drink so much as to retroactively erase their entire life.
Then you should consider seeking medical attention. You can use the radio in my kinema to call your station's Lazareth. Was there anything else you wanted? Excuse me? Detective, if I may be frank, you seem to be in a deranged state. You have trouble remembering things. You've misplaced your badge. Some you time? This is a police investigation, not a journey of self-discovery. You'll still have your evenings to yourself. Please do. We wouldn't want your regiment to spill over.
The lieutenant is pretty sure self-care is just a euphemism for nihilistic binge drinking.
What do you want to know? Good.
This Post Lavantorie mail collection box has been heavily vandalized with graffito. A closer inspection reveals 2 bullet holes in the front. A faint sticker on the side reads, RCM Emergencies Desk number 8102, with a slogan, Mankind, be vigilant. The box seems happy. Eat shit pig, fucked by the coon, and St. G with a crown have been scribbled on it. Jenny is a whore, and best set mailbox also. The mail collection box seems cathartic, thankful even. So do you. You shudder. Then you swallow. The box seems happy. This coin-operated viewer is facing south. The instruction manual says to why place a tourist attraction in the middle of such poverty?
There was a revitalization project in '49. A design studio tried restoring Martinez to its pre-war glory. They got as far as the street lamps and the statue on that intersection. Then something went sour. I suspect that something was Everard Clare, the union leader. He muscled them out. It's how it usually goes around here. We should have done something about the union 10 years ago. That ship has sailed off it. There was a They got as far as the street lamps and the statue. That's odd. I could swear you were a police officer.
This coin-operated viewer is facing southwest. Its coin slot is full of fossilized bubblegum, rendering the machine permanently inaccessible. A thick layer of graffito covers the lenses. That's Kuno on the lens. Under the graffito, a sea of blues and greys appear. Behind the water lies a coast studded with concrete and reeds. On it, a church on stilts, lanky weather-worn wooden planks, an X-shaped cross topping its tower. You know this to be the star of Periconesus, or the Cairo, the central symbol of the Periconesian church, a star, a great moral height to be strived towards. Around the large wooden building you see chunks of sea ice gathered on the beach, and a small tent set up on the ice. The metal feels cold and wet under your palm.
Probably some kids.
A simple but clever solution to ruin in a coin-operated viewer. It took ingenuity. This coin-operated view. this coin-operated viewer.
Hello, sir. Step right in. The store is open. Are you interested in a new and exciting book? It's a bookstore, sir. We sell books, postcards, and some board games. It's called...
Books? Postcards? Easy. Even a kid would know all of this. Don't be a fool. As an expert, it's your duty to tell what you know to everyone.
Sir, are you okay? You've been standing here silent. Okay, sir. I'll try to answer any questions you have. I hope they're about books. Oh, kings and queens and generals of old, or artists and writers, or musicians, those kinds of people. I think that's why people read them, to find the secrets of their fame.
Seems like most people who read those books fail to get more famous from reading.
But it does make the famous people more famous.
Annette's expression remains ever so helpful, but she doesn't say anything.
Okay. My name is Annette, sir. My mum, her name is Plaisance. She owns the store. Feel free to step in and browse our wares. I'm signalling that the store is open. Otherwise, people might not know. They'd miss out on the crime, romance, and biographies of famous people. Thank you, sir. I'm happy to help Mum out with the store. I do my studies at home at the moment. I have to help Mum keep this place running. School? Well, mine is a big yellow building on Boogie Street, and the people there run it. Mum says it's necessary to do both because it builds character. Mum says a proper worker is dutiful. That's how you get ahead in life.
There is stress and unease behind these words. She's reciting etiquette.
Mum says it's peachy. She was a little afraid at first. There's talk about this house being cursed in the way that makes them say that no business has ever really thrived here, sir. That they all go... I wouldn't really say it like that, but I guess so.
We can go into the bookstore and ask about the case. But
Yes. Please do also look at our wares inside. The postcards and board games are there, sir. Nothing really, sir. Mum doesn't allow me to sneak around in the back rooms or the cellar. I don't really know what's there.
It does not manifest itself in any way. It does not exist. I liked it better. No such thing.
Anything else you wanted to talk about, sir? Nothing really, sir. Maybe I can tell you about some of our books instead. Okay, I think that's what...
Seems like most people who read those books.
But it does make the famous people more famous. Why would they do that, sir? That's so cool. Maybe they'll make you a book cover picture and everything. Standing over a dead body, holding a gun. Oh, kings and queens and I think that's what...
Seems like most people who read those.
My name is Annette, sir. Feel free to step in and... I'm signalling that the store is open. Otherwise, people might not know. They'd miss out on the crime, romance... Oh, no, sir. I'm happy to help Mum by luring in customers. Besides, I have some hot juice in my vacuum bottle to keep warm. My name is Annette. Feel free to step in and browse. I'm signalling that the store is open. Otherwise, people might not know. Thank you, sir. I'm happy to help Mum out with the store. My name is... Feel free to step in and... I'm signalling that the... Thank you, sir. I'm glad to help Mum out with the store. Crime fiction is about murders or burglaries or things like that, and the work of a policeman or a private detective who's...
crime is what we were solving before this conversation began.
It's exciting to people, I guess. They get to imagine dangerous things, and it's kind of like a puzzle. You don't look much like a policeman. Didn't mean to offend, sir. Sorry, sir. It's just that you don't look like Dick Mullen. What's that mean? And everything's better now, sir? Why is that? Oh, okay. I shouldn't have said that thing about Dick Mullen. Head, yeah.
No, your mind. Not head, child. Heads.
Isn't that very dangerous? Unlike you, sir. He's just a fictional character. He's no match for you. Maybe you can show me some real police work, sir. Like in the books. It's the type of book where there's a rich lady and she has to choose between the good man and the bad man. Or there could be a story about a poor lady getting a rich man. It's about man and lady business, sir. It happens, but usually the guy gets rich in the process. Or should actually be rich. Those are unhappy books, for most of the pages. People sad about what they have lost. These are not very common. You can't have a choice between bad and bad. Well, maybe then it's fine. Maybe if the lady then decides not to pick either, because she... That's really not a proper romance story. That's more like everyday life. Not in romance books, sir. These are about nice and pretty people, and everyone is happy in the end. That's really not a... I guess, yes. People in books are always very... I haven't read many of those. Maybe you should ask Mum. I don't think it's a romance story if the main characters break up, though. No, I don't know. Yes, she knows books, definitely.
What was that? An idea for an unfinished novel stuck somewhere in your forebrain?
I haven't read many of those. Maybe you should ask Mum. I'm sure she can help out. Anything else? That's really not a proper... I guess, yes. People... I haven't... I'm sure... That's really not a... Not in romance books, sir. These are about... Maybe some about other books? No, sir, I can't. It would be too tiring to refrain from it. It's already tiring enough to remember to say it all the time. That's a friendly enough face, most of the time.
You fail to deduce anything She waits intently.
Come on, anyone would notice that. No, sir, I can't. It would... Yes, sir. No, sir, by your command.
The worn and beaten wooden planks of the bench do not...
We can sit on benches after.
You can revisit the bench if...
Have you no shame? Whining about your back every time you bring out the measuring tape.
René, you're a man with a fork in the world.
I'm trying to, but you keep breaking my concentration.
These manly men are playing balls. This is a ball game. Grab a... No, you got this. There's the ball. You're the game. are immediately surprised by the ball's lack of weight. No matter, you'll make it work. A chilly breeze ruffles your hair as you stand there, feet firmly planted. All sounds, smells, even the wind, everything fades until the cold metal ball is surprisingly smooth against your neck. It has a pattern on it, probably a sponsored ball. Yours would only be covered with bumps. Already your muscles are adjusting to the weight, the nervous system calibrating, an embodiment of pure motion, a fine-tuned locomotor running at maximum efficiency.
Merde! Bordel de merde!
A whorehouse of shit? It wasn't whorehouse of shit. The shot was at least 23 meters, probably 24, and then some. Nothing to be embarrassed about.
What the hell is your problem? I don't care if you are a cop. You do not just ruin someone's game. It's so goddamn disrespectful. You vandalized our game, son. We can't play pétanque with 5 bull. Well, it damn well isn't. It's pétanque. You ruined a pétanque game. We want our bull back.
Take it easy, René. This is just a misunderstanding.
Of course there's harm done, you orange slug. You owe us a goddamn bull. Good. Mistakes are forgiven, when men at least try.
Yes, why did you come here? It's unlikely they know, and you never know. He might know something. This is a good vantage point.
Yes. The terrain here provides an interesting variety to a familiar game. Yes. It was left by heavy artillery fire. Why what? Because that's what happens when communards hijack your country, execute your supreme leadership, and turn your capital into a slaughterhouse. You use heavy ordnance to clean up commies, communists, socialists, anarchists. Call them what you like. They just chose the name to feel special. Senseless sentimentality. Sadly, no. It was the foreigners who brought them to their knees. We fought valiantly. Too valiantly. Should have fought dirty, like they did with their suicide sex cult propaganda and mad anarchist women strapped to shrapnel bombs. We didn't though, and we lacked caliber. God bless him, but the suzerain's cannons simply weren't big enough.
It was probably a bit more complicated than that.
Because this place is a damn beachhead. Had to soften the commies up first. Yes, the military coordinated amphibious landing to take back Revachol. Martinez was used as one of the 3 footholds in Revachol during Operation Deathblow in 08. The other 2 are off in Stella Maris and the Delta. This here is Blood Ground, where coalition boots first made landfall and cleaned those rabid dogs out. Most likely, we're playing pétanque on their mangled corpses.
Blood ground. You got old René going there. Like he isn't hungry enough already.
Don't get me wrong, officer. I hate those foreign dogs, but the enemy of my enemy and all that. They're the lesson. Damn right, son. They lit the fire of hell on the city before they stormed it. The rest of the city got cleaned up, but Martinez they keep as a monument. And now the Union Socialists are practically running the place.
Well, it's your own damn fault. You, we, the coalition, Revachol, whoever you want to blame, never finished the job.
You don't even begin to truly understand the players on the table, let alone the specific circumstances surrounding the...
Thinking men have opinions on these things. Present one.
No, they don't. But I'm sorry it had to be the Coalition. After 8 years of fighting rabid commies, boiling cats for food and drinking piss in the mountain, I would have preferred if the Right Honorable King Guillaume returned to Revachol. Or even if that damn clan Frisel had risen from... Instead, all that is just, holy, and beautiful in the world was wiped away, and now it's neon signs with toothpaste ads everywhere. This is just what the commies wanted. This was their plan all along. This is what they wanted to replace the suzerain as the king. Has everyone forgotten already? They've forgotten already. It's no use talking to you. You were still in Daddy's balls when it happened. When we took our last stand against the filth and rode the cavalry straight into gunfire. Unfortunately, I don't. Unlike most of the locals, I have no qualms about assisting law enforcement. In Martinez, the union is the law. So cop is a pejorative term. I don't have a problem with policemen.
He doesn't know about the crime. Your time is better spent discussing politics.
I'm confident they are indispensable in regard to all the paperwork and other administrative duties. But you must agree that nature, in her infinite wisdom, has made men more fit to perform certain, more challenging tasks. Don't you, officer? Really, officer. Gender equality is a very noble, very modern idea. But in real life, primal roles prevail. But I do not wish to discuss. Unfortunately, in Martin, cop is a pejorative.
He doesn't know about the crime.
If I knew, I would not be afraid to tell you.
'Tis true, sire. He knows nothing.
Yes?
Before you stands a motor carriage. The bodywork is covered. Vapor emanates from the large engine. This must be the infernal machine that tore you from oblivion. The Capri in the cabin, you are welcomed by a set of steering levers, a radio microphone on a hook. A scent of leatherwork and heavy fuel oils washes over you. The white suede feels luxurious under the touch, and the metal clutch handle so very familiar in your palm. As you tap on the gauge, the indicator pin jerks as if startled. It's in the large orange sector, indicating the engine is warm.
There's no use pressing the heat button.
Translation. We're not going anywhere. A metallic drawer slides out from under the...
Take what you need, officer. It's going to be a long case. I'm not protective of my tools, like some...
The pry bar feels nice and useful for opening all sorts of doors and lids. The handles are long and sleek. Snap, snap, go the cutters in your hand. You can do good work with these. Cut chains, locks, and ropes, especially belts. It's robust, weatherproof, and well-made. Lets you see things in the dark you would otherwise miss. The pull-out toolbox slides back into its nest. The frequency tableau lights up, and the green button lays the soft purr of electrical kittens. Radio waves cast far and...
This is Precinct 57.
Hello, Alice. Please assist our colleague.
Operating the radio is easy. Just be confident. You've probably done it 1,000 times.
This is Officer Alice Demetri, Precinct 57. How?
Under the green prime line, a yellow saved button catches your eye. You wonder what the lieutenant's default radio station is.
It will take just a moment, officer.
Her voices fade out.
Gottlieb.
He's carelessly chewing on a piece of hard candy.
Oh, it's you. Yes, there's no end to the misfortunes fate has... Who? You are? You lost your human visage a while back. Now let's get on with it. That's because you're hung over. Even the radio waves coming from your direction smell like liquid. That's the tiny vessels pulsating from high blood pressure, stupid officer. You might be sustaining permanent damage to your vision. The busy kind. It's not life-threatening, just annoying for you.
It certainly does not help with aiming.
And you survived it. Even better. Anything else? I wouldn't worry about that. Officers your age have coronary trouble all the time. Also, death is a natural part of life. With all the damage you've been dealing yourself with drugs and alcohol, I'm not surprised. What else? I'm not a brain doctor. Look on the bright side, you've got a whole...
It's hard to say if he doesn't believe you, or doesn't care.
What? You want me to do blood work for you again? Tell you just how bad things really are across... You want the real, honest-to-God truth? Stop drinking, eat magnesium and vitamin D. And no, I don't want to hear a political commentary on the topic. In fact, I got work to do. Some idiot has glued his eyelids shut with...
It's not fucking cryoacrylate.
Cyanoacrylate is superglue.
Anything else I can help you with, officer?
In the cabin, you see a set of...
The RCM in Martinez. What can I help you with? We don't see a lot of police around here, that's all. Of course. What can I help you with? Excuse me? Oh, well, I didn't write it there. I don't know anything about that.
Pig is a widely used term.
No need to worry. We are not saying you did.
Okay. Well, I didn't. Me?
She hides it well, but behind the sweat and dirt there is something else. In her...
I'm working. I have a greenhouse in the yard there. I've been trying to... Well, as you probably...
Don't worry, miss. We are...
Salts? Ammonium salts? Perhaps useful for later.
Since the street sign's messed up? What do you mean? Yes, sir. District of Martin...
He knows where we are. He just wants directions.
It's there. In the yard.
Even all the way over here, there's a drop of death.
There's the pier, the Cape Side apartment buildings. There's the pier, the Cape Side apartment, the harbor gates. Some kind of commotion, I think. I don't follow the local politics. A fleet, some shops and a bridge. The canal bridge leads to the coast, but it's broken, I think. Just coast. There's a little fishing village there, and a fish market. It's just water. No, actually, I think they call it the Martinez Inlet. No problem.
She's very well composed. Back straight.
Of course. I won't hold you back.
If there's a corpse, then you're going to need those gloves for the autopsy.
Sure, keep them. I have another pair.
I am a gander and a hunter and a gatherer. Feel like a traveler.
A simple little cadence. He seems to be making it up.
From another planet. Hey there. It's the Jam, my man.
The air from the east is thick with the smell of crude oils. Heavy metal.
It's a traffic jam for the ages. Harbor gates up the street are shut tight. No explanation given. Workers on strike, SCAD. Meanwhile, we're all stuck here in long-haul limbo for days upon days upon days. It feels like forever. Like I was born on this here roundabout and this was all I ever knew. Just me and the metal and the...
Mazout is an antiquated term for heavy fuel oils. This man has a barely suppressed performative streak. Or he just likes unusual words. Or both.
Yeah, imagine. It's been a whole week already. So tell me, what do you need? It's like, whatever's going on over at the docks. Workers got a blockade set up, making...
Going on strike would probably help you dodge a bullet or two.
Some pretty wild stuff, I hear. Like a giant new power crane in half the company? I forget what exactly. I've heard talk there's a company rep in town, too. Like, a strike negotiator type.
Ah, yes, from the Wild Pines. We'll meet her soon enough, I'm sure.
They want to keep that money flowing in, my man. Ka-ching.
He doesn't blame them, but he's not on their side. That's for sure.
Maybe you should. Cops don't get paid much and the hours are long.
The RCM is a self-managing organization that operates on donations. We promote our own leaders. It would be like striking against your own... Okay, but do continue. You were asking about the strike?
They want to keep that money...
He doesn't blame them, but he's not on their side.
Maybe you should.
The RCM is a self-managing organization that operates on donations. We promote our own... Yes, but do continue. You were asking about the strike?
Maybe you should.
The RCM... I don't think you understand how that joke goes, but do continue.
Anything else? Yeah, this ain't really my area of expertise. I just do my... Us lorry drivers. Camionneurs. You still hang around here waiting for this mess to end. Most have scurried off somewhere, to get drunk or high. Not my thing. Chasing transient pleasures is a drag these days. I prefer the examined life now. Thinking, reflecting, observing.
He tries his best to look nonchalant, but there's a rigidity in him, as if trying to conceal something warm and deep beneath a cool exterior.
Oh, high-grade narcotics, illegal...
Relax. He's merely joking.
Ha! No, I'm joking, my man. Found runs a nice, clean business. This haul of cargo is most... They usually get shipped to Grad and the Occident. Though we've been making headway in the Il Moran market lately. This rockin' beauty. Sure is. Like a rash you can't get rid of. You interested in heavy-duty cargo machinery?
A motor lorry, also called a camion, on Caillou and neighboring islands. This one looks roughed up enough to be some sort of found...
Good eye, my man. Yup, she's an old one, but reliable. Me and her spent a long time together. Not unless they've illegalized sports equipment while I was on the road. We're pals and all, but I can't just freely hand out the merchandise.
The man taps his fingers rhythmically against his arm.
He ain't one of us drivers. I know that. All accounted for. Otherwise, I haven't really asked about that.
It's easy to see he's telling the truth. He's kept his nose out of the dark stuff.
Analyzing the fundamental structural and psychological conditions of being stranded in the...
Ask for his conclusion.
A sense of surprise there ain't more bodies hanging from more trees. Don't be a stranger.
Old monument stands in the middle of the traffic island, pointing toward the sea. It looks as if it's been reassembled. A silver plaque on the statue's pedestal reads, "I am Philip III, the Squanderer, the greatest of the Philippine kings." As you look up, you notice something about the statue. There are some odd indentations on the kings, even by the standards of the Philippine kings. Old sumptuous Philip was known well. He blew through the whole national treasury, starting the decline, his own maladministration. For stories have it that he had his bedroom converted into a treasure chamber, where he stored he called it the Sol Auron. It was obscene. There were whispers he slept on a huge pile of gold-dipped feathers, like some obese dragon, instead of a bed, like a normal person. But wait, you haven't even heard about his fabled cocaine addiction. You see, old Philippe wasn't just good at squandering the national treasury on gold and ceremonial weaponry. His Majesty's courtiers said it helped him connect with the higher realms. Cocaine. That's what the revolutionaries said 150 years later, right before they emptied out the royal mausoleum and dumped His Majesty's mortal remains in the Insulindian beneath the cold waters of the Insulindian Bay. Thrown there, the original was blown apart by communards, then further damaged during the landing of the coalition's airships. Most historians think the coalition's hasty landing may have ultimately saved the statue. Some years ago, a group of liberal, artistically inclined individuals, designers mostly, thought it would be. The statue is supposed to capture the moment it was blown apart, like an instant frozen in time, a rare butterfly trapped in amber, floating on a sea of shit. People in Martinaise tend to disagree, as do many prominent art critics and thought leaders. Those critics might have it wrong though. There's more to it than just ironism, but you can't say what precisely. Philip III, the Squanderer, however, with his bronze face up in the air, not that he ever did in life either. Something with great kinetic energy seems to have impacted. Someone shot him in the heart. Interesting.
Okay, I can see it, but I think... Well, Martinez is riddled with bullet holes. This place saw a lot of action during the revolution. But the statue is recently renovated, so maybe a joke? Target... Why not? What this shows us is guns aren't too uncommon here. And
the king stands high above you. Someone shot him in the heart.
Okay, I can... Well, Martinez is riddled. Why not? What is...
The king stands high above. Someone shot him in...
Okay, well, Martinez... Why not?
The king stands high above you. Someone shot him in the...
Okay, Well, Martinez, if we connect every bullet... I've made a note.
The king stands high. Wow, you work hard. Oh, yes, you hustle. You're a provider. It's tough out there, but you keep it. Look at yourself. You're a human pedometer. You must have walked 200,000 steps. That is the sign of a hustler who never gives up. The world is harsh and people are evil. You didn't make it that way, and you won't let it break you. A little. You make money. You got gills, baby. Got those black papers with the faces of the innocents on them. It ain't easy, but you do it. Day in and day out. You didn't make the rules, but you... Sure. And has it been easy? Is life easy? Have you not gone into cardiac arrest? Are you not about to have an anxiety attack or shoot yourself in the mouth? Are you rich? That's right. You work harder than anyone. You almost rode yourself to the grave and you're still practically a hobo. Why is that? Look, the immigrants are cool. The immigrants play cool music. Everyone likes them, especially the women. Boo-hoo. The system is broken. The establishment is keeping me down. That's not the fuck yeah attitude. The guardsman has set himself up one of those self-replicating money structures. You should learn from it. That's right, 100%. Fucking G-Man's got his jam-covered sticky fingers in your pocket, stealing from you every time you buy. Our tax is almost non-existent in the Gotham estate that is Revachol. You and I both, but they got those indirect modes of taxation. Sales tax, excise duty, extraction tax. This tax that doesn't even have a name. Plus, there's the stuff people in other countries pay for that makes them ask for more money from 98% of all your money. What are you not sure about? They're milking your nipples till they bleed. Can't you see? Aren't you sick and tired of having bloody nipples? It's all about the tax issue, hustler. No other problem in the world is as pressing as top marginal tax rates. And don't you Hey, psst. Yes, you. Word on the street is you're ready to start building. You keep saying things like, down with the bourgeoisie, eat the rich, sodomize the landowners, impale all people who have more than 25 real in their pocket. Literally murder all human beings, regardless of, oh yes, the mask of ambivalence. Don't deny it. You're about to rip it off and reveal the monstrous seven-eyed lamb of global communism that would devour, and everyone can see that. So tell me, do you have any questions before we fire up the failure? It's about failure. Yes, abject failure. Total, irreversible defeat on all fronts. Absolutely vanquished. Beat you alone. Against every living thing. Against every human alive. 800 trillion real in the hands of an impossibly well-organized ruling class. Towering city, you against the atom, the charm and the spin. Where the whole world failed. Matter failed to bend to human will. Human will fail to get out of bed and tie its laces. You alone, single-handedly. Now get to work, comrade. Oh yeah, get the firing squads and the animal wagons ready. Too late to back out now. You can't make an omelette without... small, wrinkled woman does not greet you. She nods along to something on her the photo, an ambrotype from the turn of the century, as golden as her smile. No response wherever this woman...
Wait. She's just a distracted old woman. Better to leave her alone. Why? I just...
Bastards! We have a right to work! Hold up and stay frosty, everyone. Cops.
You here to fuck with us? Beat the honest worker.
We're here to fight for a cause. Stripes usually have problems with people who have...
Good. We're fighting for a cause here.
Right to...
Besides, we're not that different. It helps if people see us talking, cops and strike breakers together. Shows authorities are on it.
Rights of people. Rights of workers. To have...
His manner of speaking is wooden, the tone of voice bland and uninspired, almost as if compiling replies from a set of learned phrases.
Might be time. Don't let the fat bastards tread on you. Cops tend to side with the higher-ups. But you're essentially still worker. I don't trust cops, but I can see you understand the...
Right to work! Right to work!
Maybe you should ask them the questions, like why we're not allowed to make...
We have families to feed, you piece of shit.
So do we, Scab.
Honest men and women with rights to work, to be useful, not toys for corporate interests.
We came here to help the harbor run smoothly in time of crisis. If union fucks don't want work, they ought to let in those.
I have a question. Why do all these men follow your lead?
You think they follow because I'm big and loud? No. They follow the rules of the market, the rules of the economy, because they were
given a job to do! When a bunch of ungrateful, lazy cockroaches can't get their act together, decide to...
Beats me. They mumble nonsense about boardrooms and workers' rights.
There's something odd in the way he carries himself. His set of clothing looks vaguely mismatched. The different pieces of the attire seem ill. His shirt is far too small and an unpleasantly tight fit, while the overalls, held up by a belt, seem to fit a man with much more. He ignores your question, choosing instead to turn to the emaciated workers, raising both. Silence is the answer. There's something off. You've been talking to him for quite a while now. Something is off with this guy. Ask him where he's from.
What's it to you? Am I a suspect? Done no crimes.
Every once in a while, it's like you can see glimpses of another guy under the guise of this fighter for jobs. He seems more...
We're all workers, right? Workers stick together. Came from the eminent domain in Jamrock. Backgrounds in odd jobs, heavy lifting, cargo hauling, bouncer work. I know the drill. Worked at Territorial. Ring a bell? Uh-huh. It was a long time ago. What's it to you?
Big mess, caused by union greed. But I only fight for the rights of people.
Every once in a while, It's like you can see glimpses.
We're all workers, right? Workers stick together. Came from the eminent domain. Worked at territory. Uh-huh. It was a long time ago. What's it to you? No. Don't think we've met.
Every once in a while, it's like
We're all workers, right? Worked at territorial. We're done here. I have a strike to break.
Scab?
you're hazy on the notion of a scab. Smells like politics, though. Maybe it's got something to do with the flask he reaches for?
A kind of a worm, content with mere survival. They come, they want to do our job for shittier pay, screwing over both themselves and us. Everybody loses. Beats me. Somewhere in the ground, they gotta be bloody stupid or freaking evil to scab. Or I guess scared, maybe. But scared of what? Of who? Personally, I'd rather beg than scab. If the gentleman shouting on the street came begging, maybe they'd have gotten something. We've explained the matters, but they don't listen. This lot would be reasonable and go home if the big guy wasn't riling them up all the time.
Big guy. He means the leader of the scabs.
Good one, officer. Don't worry. Imagine, you cops going on a strike, but then another cop comes in and says, let us cop for less money.
Psst. Show him your stolen card. Now has arrived the perfect moment.
Speaking of, what brings the RCM here? To the wild north? Come to see the strife?
The man looks at the colorful piece of...
But that's not you, officer. From back when you were not a cop, but a heavy-set, dark-skinned doc... Yes, and you also told me you're a cop. But now that this is settled...
Now you're in a mess. The time hath not arrived. Sorry.
Oh, John's been out drinking himself blind again?
No, it will prove useful still. Believe your thieving fingers.
Oh, is my friend in some sort of trouble? Who knew? Murder, huh? That sounds like a lot of hard work. You'd never see me investigating a murder. Of course, Policia. It wasn't me. You can...
He didn't do it. It's the truth.
My friend, I respect the right to roam. The open range awaits. I don't operate in that capacity. I'm not a granter of
If it's all so simple, why don't the strike...
Aye. Walk right past Measurehead and go in. Yeah, the 2.5 meter tall Semini supremacist there. Walk right past him, then press the button to unlock the door, then go past him again, and you enter the arbor through the office. Está. Don't worry, I'm sure it's not completely impossible. Or you could convert to a Semini supremacist worldview. Or, maybe it actually... Not yet, no. He's incredible. Jean-Luc himself would say the philosophy has proven overly heroic for the scabs to convert to. Not enough intuition. Sure. You know, serious business. I'm sure the big boss would be glad to tell you.
He's a chatty guy. Wants to talk about the strike too. Just can't break the command structure and tell you.
You know, serious.
He's a chatty guy. Wants...
Murder, huh? That sounds like a lot of hard... Probably not. I wouldn't even know where to start with that. Much better here at the harbor. Murder, huh? That sounds like a lot of hard work. I don't believe you. Boss Laventurier said it wasn't. I'm doing much better here at the harbor. Being an honest union man with a lot of free time. Murder, huh? That sounds... That's okay. I have no idea what I'm doing either. I don't even know what day it is. Don't tell me.